Portland, Oregon, in America's Pacific Northwest. Since the election of Donald Trump, there's been trouble in the streets. Far-right groups are on the march.
See, I get very violent. I'm like one of the more violent because I don't like to fight for very long.
They're confronted by homegrown anti-fascists.
You and your 3%er bullshit. Your 3%er shirt.
Someone's got to stop them. They're not going to march in my streets, not in my town.
Why has this city become a battleground between the far-right and the leftist anti-fascist movement? I'm Mike Wendling, and I've come here to find out.
I get Chief Outlaw, whose side are you on?
Right.
What are little black girls going to think of you for protecting white supremacists?
I also want to bring together two people from opposing sides. They know each other from across the barricades. When they meet again on neutral ground, will they talk or will they fight? It's a disturbing trend across America. Political violence in the streets. New York, Berkeley, California. A murder in Charlottesville, Virginia. But the main battleground is a hipster utopia, the city of Portland. Right-wing groups come from out of town, proclaiming the right to free speech. As an American, I want to know why extremism is on the rise across my country. And who is invading once peaceful Portland? And I've come 4.5 hours south of the city to this town called Ashland.
Hey, welcome to my town.
Rob Cantrell is a local chapter leader of one of America's newest far-right groups, the Proud Boys. How you doing?
Make it up here, okay?
Yeah, how about you?
Oh yeah, I can hear it.
Right now, he's living in his car, along with all his stuff, his favorite companion Marley, and Marley's litter box. Rob works at a local marijuana farm. He's divorced with a daughter and grandson.
I mean, it's humble, it's dirty, it's rough, it's beautiful. You haven't even seen the back yet.
Although it's illegal in most places in America, in Oregon, growing cannabis is tolerated, and adults are perfectly free to smoke it.
You can kind of get an idea of how many plants we have. About 600 here.
Freedom is what Rob says he's all about.
You know, we're trying to save the way of life, freedom, and not let it turn into some oppressive communation or any kind of ism. I mean, you can use other ways.
The Proud Boys is a men's-only club. They say they stand for traditional values, capitalism, gender roles, free speech. They have 10 principles.
One of them is abolish prisons. In the welfare state, no more welfare. I know, but that seems pretty heartless. We can do that by having a more lucrative economy and taking care of each other a little bit more. We just don't want the government to take care of us.
But Rob's main source of income these days is a government disability allowance. What are some other principles?
Let's see, venerate the housewife. I'm sorry, but traditionally speaking, a woman in the home is the best home.
The Proud Boys have been designated a hate group by an anti-extremism organization in America. They deny they're racist or homophobic. They have black members and gay members. What makes them extreme is their violence.
One of the tenets is we're never supposed to hit first.
People have said that the Proud Boys have started violence. There's been videos.
They like violence.
There's been people arrested.
See, I get very violent In fights, I'm like one of the more violent because I don't like to fight for very long.
Yeah.
And I want to get it done.
Rob and the Proud Boys are willing to make the trip into Portland again and again. They march. Sometimes the rallies result in violence and arrests. One man who marched with the far right committed murder. Jeremy Christian was extreme even by their standards. In 2017, Christian was shouting racial abuse at 2 Muslim women on a Portland train. 2 men tried to intervene. He stabbed them. When he appeared in court, he shouted, "Death to the enemies of America. Death to Antifa." I've come to a quiet, working-class neighborhood where patriotism is on display. This is the home of one of Portland's prominent Antifa, short for anti-fascist, activists.
Hey!
Hello, Luis.
How you doing?
All right, how are you doing?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Welcome, come on in.
Thanks.
On a real bad day, I'm probably an anarchist. On a real good day, a social democrat.
Luis Enrique Marquez grew up in this city. His grandparents were immigrants. He's a comedian and writer, but he's lost his patience with American politics.
I think it's ridiculous that these group of nativists, white nationalists, and right-wingers keep coming to my town and keep bringing their hate to my town.
The red sauce is good. It's not as spicy as it smells.
Do we know what
Very
this is
nice.
over here?
The anti-fascists in Portland are a broad mix of left-wing types. I talked to anarchists, communists, and socialists. Luis's house is an unofficial activist hub.
They need to learn that their violence that they're bringing is not going to be unopposed. It's not going to be just taken and absorbed. It's going to send it back to them.
Is what you're standing for.
These activists say the other side's claim about free speech is a pretense, hiding a fascist agenda, and that the right-wingers want to shut them down. Most people in Portland are repulsed by the far right. The vast majority here did not vote for Donald Trump.
They've already killed 2 people. Lots of innocent people's lives have been disrupted. Someone's got to stop them. They're not going to march in my streets, not in my town.
But many also disagree with the anti-fascist tactics. Antifa aren't afraid to fight. Sometimes they come out armed. They do self-defense training, which they won't allow us to film.
That's where he challenges me again to a fight. I suggest you never walk the streets of Portland again. Just stay hidden with the other punks.
Battles on the streets are mirrored online, and some are deeply personal. Luis plays a message from Proud Boy Rob Cantrell.
I'm not done with you. I just started, dog. Why don't you f***ing let me know when you're going to be walking the streets of Portland, you little
This is their first encounter at a rally 2 years ago.
So, if you f***ing threaten me, I'm gonna take on one of these guys. You understand? So don't get your boys f***ed up.
Rob argued with an Antifa activist. Luis tried to separate them.
Have a good f***ing day.
He sent you a picture of you and your partner. Since then, they've slung insults and threats back and forth online. Did you respond to him there?
I just told him I prefer you suicide.
Luis gives as good as he gets.
On the right toward Berkeley Boulevard, then keep right.
There are dozens of Proud Boy chapters in 37 states and the UK and Canada. Their exact numbers are unknown. But there's a sizable group near Portland, in a suburb just over the state line. Rob has traveled up for a Proud Boy party, and we've received a last-minute invitation.
Hello. Oh, hey. Yeah, you guys missed out on all the food and everything.
Welcome.
Who do you think you are? I'm your daddy.
We're there protecting freedom of speech.
To To become a member of the Brotherhood, you have to do the following. First degree, recite a slogan.
My name is Rob Cantrell. I'm a Western chauvinist who refuses to apologize for creating the modern world.
Second degree, name breakfast cereals while getting smacked by fellow Proud Boys.
1 Cheerios, 2 Frosted Flakes, 3 Cocoa Puffs, 4.
Also, promise not to masturbate. And the third degree, brand yourself in solidarity.
Proud Boy.
Look at that big, beautiful, smiling face. Loud and proud. Loud and proud.
Rob's fellow Proud Boys show off some ink, wearing their uniform of choice, a Fred Perry polo shirt.
Actually, they are.
Most of these men are fourth degree members, but they are a bit cagey about exactly what that entails.
Because I know not everybody on the left is bad.
Fourth degrees are awarded for getting attacked by an anti-fascist, fighting, or getting arrested. Not exactly your average drinking club. How many times have you been arrested at these rallies?
Altogether, 18 times.
All at these rallies?
Yes.
That have happened in Portland?
Yes.
All in Portland?
Yeah. Oh, look at that swing.
Tusitala Tuese, known by his nickname Tiny, is originally from American Samoa.
That's my weak hand right here.
He's one of the group's leaders. His Proud Boy brothers point to him when they deny they're racist.
Right there!
Tiny has been arrested for disorderly conduct, harassment, and assault.
Yeah! Don't touch me! Well, don't touch me! Ready? Yeah. Say hooroo! Hooroo!
But he claims that the Proud Boys are simply standing up for free speech. And anti-fascists are the real root of the problem.
They're being selfish. Not everybody in Portland agrees with them. And if they're trying to build a community, it's a community of masked ninjas that does not follow the law.
Accusations of violence go both ways. When they clash, everyone's affected.
As a protest, a lot of the times the police will set up a system of barricades to try to keep the protesters separated or to try to keep it contained to like one area.
Local journalist Mike Bivens covers the right-wing rallies in Portland.
You know, they mean business.
This is where it begins, but it's not where it ends. Brawls spill out onto the streets.
On October 13th, Patriot Prayer called for a protest in downtown Portland. They eventually clashed with some anti-fascist left-wing protesters outside of Kelly's Olympian. Yeah, they really started just kind of like beating the crap out of each other once the first punch was thrown.
The last time I didn't even know what was going on until somebody ran in and was choking because they had gotten maced, and then all of a sudden everybody started choking in the bar, and then we went on lockdown.
Portland's Democratic mayor is clear who is starting the trouble and why the city is targeted.
It's because we are a progressive community on the whole. So we do have groups like the Patriot Prayer and the Proud Boys. They come to Portland, they come from the outside, and they come here because they know that their politics, that their message is not necessarily welcome here. They're trying to provoke a reaction.
The mayor tried to pass a law to clamp down on the marches.
Constitutionally, we cannot prevent people from coming to our city, but we believe there were some preemptive steps we could take. Limit their rights to firearms, close certain public facilities, require notification, keep different groups separated a reasonable amount of distance so that they could not directly brawl. At the end of the day, it didn't pass the council.
The lawmakers were worried about restricting free speech. The anti-fascists blame right-wingers for terrorizing their city. To protect themselves, they don't rely on the police.
I carry a gun with me at all times. And I will say, I mean, I really don't like guns, honestly. When I got out of the military, I had gotten rid of every weapon I had.
Do you have a gun now?
Oh, of course.
As we're on our way to the barber with Luis, I see how easily things can escalate.
So this is my neighborhood. It's a working class neighborhood that's starting to be re-gentrified. We see with the McMansion homes that are going on here to the right.
But then Luis and his comrades see a man nearby. They think he's watching us. They think he's wearing a hoodie showing the logo of a far-right militia.
Fuck you and your 3%er bullshit. Fuck your 3%er shirt. Your militia hoodie.
It's not malicious.
Your militia hoodie.
It's not malicious.
What the fuck is it then?
It's from Diesel Power. Right?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
What just happened?
That man was wearing a 3%er t-shirt whether he wants to admit it publicly or not. That's the militia. The 3%ers stand with Patriot Prayer, with nativists and nationalists. I don't want them in my neighborhood. It's all personal for me because I'm fighting for my freedom. I'm fighting for the freedom of my allies, right? My personal philosophy is that wherever fascism is, I'm going to be there and I'm going to confront it.
The fighting isn't confined to the streets. Sometimes it comes home.
A person ran up to the tree right there and threw a rock through my window. You can see it's a double glass, pane glass window here. Prior to that, this year on St. Patrick's Day, my house was firebombed. I opened the door and I look, and this had hit the window and fallen down to the side of the house and was shooting out flames, like I said, about that big, that way, just filling up my neighborhood.
Did the police ever find who was responsible?
I don't call the police. I don't call a group of people that are out to harm me to try and protect me.
Both the anti-fascists and the Proud Boys say the police are too hard on their side and too soft on the other. For Antifa, even talking to the cops can get you cut off from the group.
People aren't lining up to cooperate with us.
Danielle Outlaw has been Portland's chief of police for less than 2 years.
I get the chief outlaw, whose side are you on?
Right.
What are little black girls going to think of you for protecting white supremacists? We enforce laws, but we focus on behaviors. And regardless of which side it is, we still have an obligation to protect and to facilitate First Amendment rights to free speech, regardless of what's being said.
We've convinced Rob and Luis to exercise their freedom of speech with each other.
Western culture.
They hate each other, but they agree to use words, not fists. I just hope they stick to the bargain. What do you hope might come out of that meeting?
That I'll sit down with him. Is anything going to come out of it? Nope. I'm trepidatious. I think he's going to attack me.
Rob, on the other hand, isn't sure what to expect.
I worry that he's going to say something or I'm going to say something that's just going to trigger the other one and it's going to go to hell, you know. He might teach me something. I might teach him something, but I never expect to change someone's mind.
So you hope to have a connection with him?
Yeah, everybody should do that. We're still humans.
We meet in a cannabis club. They do agree on at least one thing. Liberalizing America's drug laws is a good idea. I wasn't sure the discussion was going to happen at all until they both arrived. We've hired security just in case. Rob's cat Marley is frisked too. The mood is tense as I read out the rules. Number 1, no violence. All right, we're going to talk about some tough stuff. If we break the rules, we're just going to shut it down.
Hey, Lewis, will you take off your glasses, dog? I feel so much more like I'm interacting with you if I can see your eyes, dog.
Excuse me? No.
Luis won't address Rob directly. Body language says it all. Luis, what do you think of Rob?
I think he's a bigot. I think he's a misogynist. I think he's violent towards women. And I think he's a racist. I think he's uneducated.
Oh, he's got more.
And I think he's misguided.
He's obviously ignorant of who I am.
You're not those things?
Let's see. You can't be a racist if you don't subscribe to race.
Rob, what do you think of Louise?
I think he's violent on the street. I think he's trying to duck out of responsibility.
That's funny. I'm violent. I'm not the one that's been caught multiple times on video cameras threatening to burn down bookstores. I'm not the one that's been caught on video camera threatening to punch women in the face.
I am more qualified than these peaceful guys to know what you're about, because I'm a violent man, you know, and you're a violent man. That's how I see what you do. You see what I do. I just, from my own eyes and from my experience as a violent person, I know that you're a violent person.
I show them video clips where they're verbally attacking the other side.
I'm a racist because I support our president of this United States of America?
Yes, basically, yes.
You are so ignorant. That is the worst
Fucking
excuse.
commie scum.
Give me a good reason.
You're commie scum. We're going to burn down your bookstore. You know
Give me a
that, right?
fucking good reason.
Okay, we have you on recorded that you say you're going to burn down our bookstores.
Oh my God!
Rob, how is that ever justified, to threaten to burn down a bookstore?
I am so justified in telling those fools I was going to burn down their bookstore. It's not illegal, is it?
I think burning down a bookstore is probably illegal.
Is it? If I could find a way to do it legally, would you guys all like stop hating on me on that?
Luis, I'm going to show you this. Next, it's Luis's turn.
You come find me! You come find me, you fucking hiding! Come here, scare little bitch!
So I'm going to ask you the same question. How is that behavior justified?
I didn't say it was. I didn't say it was proper. That march turned into a personal feud between me and a right-wing journalist. And that in no way is right.
So that was a misstep?
It was in no way correct.
Takes a big man to say something like that, dog.
A breakthrough? Maybe, but it doesn't last.
I've seen this man call women the C word, the B word, threaten to beat them. You've seen the text where he's threatened my girlfriend. You've seen
threatened her with a good time.
You've seen the.
That's it. I threatened her with a good time.
You've seen the
That's
threats.
How does this end?
Proud Boys have been told, burn your Perry. Make a video renouncing hate in the Proud Boys. Go away. That's how it ends.
You want me to leave my own town? You want us to just walk off a cliff?
How do you see this ending?
Badly.
So no meeting of minds, but at least it all went off without a fight. And Marley the cat had a good time. Afterwards, we say goodbye to Rob at his temporary home.
You're ready to go at any time.
That's right.
Yeah, you live on the road, it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much.
His car parked at a nearby grocery store. He leaves Portland for now. Meanwhile, Luis is back with his fellow anti-fascists. They wait for nightfall before dropping their banner on a bridge. Portland is a warning about where American politics could lead. One thing is clear: these two groups will keep brawling.